So these two chapters, chapter 24 and chapter 25, they are filled with amazing verses, and they're containing some of the most, I would say, oft quoted and important verses of the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, we will slow down a little bit and try to get into the teachings of Kapila Dev in um, a little detail. So as we saw, that Devahuti was really regretting that she did not take the full opportunity of the saintly association of Kardama Muni when he is ready to now leave the hermitage. But Kardama Muni, as far as he is concerned, he is simply acting as an instrument in the hand of the Supreme Lord to manifest the plan of the Lord, because the Supreme Lord has already given him his darshan, his own audience, as well as instructions were already revealed to him directly face to face. And therefore, as far as Kardama Muni is concerned, he is simply just fulfilling those words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he had already forecasted that a, a plenary portion of himself in the form of Kapila Dev is going to take birth in the womb of Devahuti. And therefore, all these external arrangements that we heard about in terms of creating aerial mansion and then enjoying for many years, they were all in terms of execution of the instructions of the Supreme Lord. And therefore, Kardama Muni was very confident, and therefore he responded to Devahuti's really lamenting hard when she said that I'm really solidly cheated by the illusory potency of the Lord. So Kardama Muni is saying that, okay, no, you are not cheated at all. So then he gives a very important set of instructions to her, trying to see how to actually create the stage for the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, he gave 3 instructions. So he said that engage in devotional service, first of all, with austerity and self-control. Secondly, follow religious principles. And third, give in charity. So these are the sort of, you can say, formulae for having the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifest in one's heart, as well as in one's house. Wherever you are, you can have the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifest just with these 3 principles. So therefore, Kardama Muni is revealing the secret of the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So he's saying that if you do this, like engaging in devotional service with austerity and self-control, following religious principles, and giving in charity. So following religious principles essentially amounts to following the instructions of the bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord. And that's the import of religious principles is. So if one is able to do these 3 things, then the Supreme Lord will be pleased with you and will appear as your son. That's Kardama Muni's instruction to Devahuti. So another way to look at it is that even though the Supreme Personality of Godhead has already forecasted the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this couple is not taking it cheaply, that okay, anyways the Supreme Lord is going to manifest, so what do we have to do? No. So Kardama Muni is also very serious about creating the right kind of circumstances and right kind of environment for the Supreme Lord to appear. So he is not at all taking it lightly. And therefore, he is saying that the Supreme Personality of Godhead being worshipped by you will ultimately vanquish the knot of your heart by becoming your son and teaching knowledge of Brahman. So through these 3rd and 4th verse, Kardama Muni had laid down the foundation in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to make his appearance. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport to verse number 4, like how the Kapil Dev's, how the teachings of Kapil Dev will soon cut that knot in Devahuti's heart. So Prabhupada is writing, the explanation was given by Lord Rishabh to his sons. So this is about what is this knot in the heart. So that explanation was given by Lord Rishabh to his sons, that this material world is an atmosphere of attraction between male and female. That attraction takes the shape of a knot in the heart. Such a clear description. So what is the knot in the heart? It is the attraction between male and female. And by material affection, it becomes still more tight. For people who hanker after material possessions, society, friendship, and love, this knot of affection becomes very strong. It is only by Brahma Bhavana, the instruction by which spiritual knowledge is enhanced, that the knot in the heart is cut into pieces. No material weapon is needed to cut this knot, but it requires bona fide spiritual instruction. Kardama Muni instructed his wife Devahuti that the Lord would appear as her son and disseminate spiritual knowledge to cut the knot of material identification. And therefore, now, following Kardama Muni's instructions, Devahuti began to worship the Lord who is situated in the heart of everyone. So Maitreya Rishi explains that Devahuti was, again, two things. First is that she was fully faithful, and second, she was respectful toward the direction of her husband. So husband, Kardama Muni, was acting as her spiritual master in this case. So it said that Devahuti was fully faithful and respectful. These are the two qualities that are needed to serve and satisfy the spiritual master, faithful and respectful. So she was both fully faithful and respectful toward the direction of her husband, Kardama, who was one of the Prajapatis or generators of human beings in the universe. O great sage, she thus began to worship the master of the universe, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is situated in everyone's heart. After many, many years, so please note that the Supreme Lord did not appear very fast. So they had already spent many years to create the progeny of the 9 daughters. And then after that, they spent many more years of austerities. So interestingly, before they just went into enjoyment, just moving around in the aerial mansion. But then after that, they came back to hermitage, and now they are going through austerities to get Kapila Dev. And that's an interesting point to note. So after many, many years of this austerity, then the Supreme Personality of God, Madhusudana, the killer of the demon Madhu, having entered the semen of Kardama, appeared in Devahuti just as fire comes from wood in a sacrifice. This analogy is very important for us to understand because the point is that it is because the Supreme Lord is all-pervading and independent, therefore it is not very difficult for him to manifest in the semen or in the womb of his devotee, because after all, the Supreme Lord is present everywhere. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport to verse number 6 that Lord Narsingha appeared from the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace, Lord Varaha appeared from the nostril of Brahma, and Lord Kapiladev appeared from the semen of Kardama. But this does not mean that the nostril of Brahma or the pillar of Hiranyakashipu's palace or the semen of Kapila Muni is the source of the appearance of the Lord. The Lord is always the Lord. Bhagavan Madhusudana. He is the killer of all kinds of demons, and he always remains the Lord, even if he appears as the son of a particular devotee. So then the whole description comes of how the wonderful environment is created when Kapila Dev was taking birth. So when Kapila Dev made his appearance, the atmosphere became joyous, and the demigods showered flowers. Then Brahma's 9 sons. Who are the 9 sons? Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulatsya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bhrigu, Vasishtha, and Atharva. So these are the 9 sons of Brahma. So Brahma, his 9 sons, and the other demigods, they hurried to Kardama Muni's hermitage. And Kardama Muni, because he had faithfully followed Lord Brahma's order to increase the population, and not just to increase the population, but to create very qualified progeny. Therefore, naturally, Lord Brahma was very pleased with the sage, and therefore Lord Brahma is making his appearance again in his hermitage. And we will hear some very sweet words of reciprocation from Lord Brahma because of his faithfully following Lord Brahma's instructions. So thank you very much.